Hello, hello. What's going on, guys? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday day. Today's Wednesday. I know it's kind of shocking to you guys. It's already halfway through the week. Just think about that. Your week's halfway over. The weekend is halfway here. It's not gonna make a difference for me because I just like kind of work around the clock, but you guys get off on weekends, so yippee. Is doing some Dub Duel stuff tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna be reacting to the Dub Duel stuff. But I will be doing feedback for you guys. Almost like why you're here in the first place. I know, kind of weird, but yeah. I'll wait like a minute or two just so people can just like gather in, you know. And then we'll get the feedback show on the road. I have to like kind of sort through the submissions, anyways. But hope you guys are having a good day today. Um. How many on the queue? So far, there's 7, but it's gonna be a lot more people coming in. And if you are a paid subscriber to his Patreon, then you'll get to skip the line. So, yar. I should start streaming on Twitch soon. I was considering it a lot recently because Twitch just has a lot of better integration for streaming stuff, like for me to interact and like clip stuff, obviously. And like the thing I like the most is that like you guys can clip stuff. So if there's like a moment for you that you thought was funny or like interesting or you want to look back on, you can clip it and save it and whatnot. And honestly, that would save me a lot of work because I was just editing shorts clips earlier. And it's just so tedious, man. Like I honestly hate skimming through like my 3 hour videos and then trying to find a moment in there that I think is interesting and then, you know, just doing all that shit. It's annoying. So I might start streaming on Twitch again. But I don't know if I'm gonna make it like a priority to do Twitch stuff because Twitch has its own like sets of problems. What's up, Basti? Bestie. So I just know, but just know that people just kind of like do production stuff on there all the time though, and YouTube isn't really like known as a streaming platform per se. Just give some notification for your subscriber to check your Twitch. I guess, yeah. There's some kind of migration, maybe. I don't know. I think I could stream on both anyways, so if I could stream on both, that's best of both worlds, I guess, you know. I think it would be a little confusing though to see like a YouTube comment or a chat and then like a Twitch chat, but who knows? I should do it though. And stop being a little pussy and do it. But yeah, I guess it's enough time. I guess we can start getting into it. I guess I could like stream games too. Why not? I do play a fair amount of games because I'm a little gamer. Just kind of confusing for streaming in both, but you should try it. I don't know how to do it. I just know you can. But yeah, and also YouTube, it like has some kind of boundary where you can't like get like a donation set up or something. A lot of widgets just don't work on YouTube. Um, so like if I wanted to do like a skip the line for someone not necessarily like a subscriber for Twitch, if you were to like donate like a certain amount, you could just skip the line that way instead of having to go on Patreon or something. I feel like that would be easier for most people to do, anyways. But who knows? Most people had like their stuff set up on Twitch to do that stuff. And it's just like a easy access to them. So I think the first one we'll go through. I gotta check this person. more. Yes, I am actually had 11K subscriber for now, but didn't know how to handle the Notion stuff. Yeah, I'm interested in that because I know people don't like using Patreon for using subscriptions, and it might be like a easier alternative for people who just want feedback. I was trying to like figure out stuff to do for my Patreon supporters that was like kind of like a lower tier that wasn't just feedback, but it seems like there's a lot of people that just only want feedback and that's the only thing. So I'm like trying to figure it out. Who knows? Okay, so the first mission we're gonna be doing is from Alvo GTR. It's a new name I have not seen. They said they've been producing for 10 years and they mainly want feedback on mixing and mastering. Well, I got you, buddy. Does selling stuff on Patreon work well for you? Yeah, selling stuff on Patreon works pretty damn well. If you aren't aware, I used to sell stuff on Gumroad, and then Gumroad like hiked up their prices a little bit. Like for every purchase they would take 10%, and then they raised it to like 15. I think they went back down to 10 because they lost a lot of customers or like producers, people who made stuff on Gumroad. But I might start making more packs on there just to see, because you saw that I used to do like the big packs that they had like 300 files or something in them. But I might do some more of those, who knows. They're pretty fun to make, and also I'm like doing a ton of like sample production anyways. Like I make so many Serum 2 presets now, it's like kind of insane. That's like all I do. So yeah. But I, like I said before, I'm gonna be doing anything to make you guys happy. So if you have any questions or like things you think I could do, then hit me up on that. Michael Mahalis. I know this guy. I don't remember how I know him, but I know this guy. I think I talked to him before. I'm a very stagnant producer, so the intro is meh. That's fine. That's fucking fine. Considering hiring a video producer too, just because I don't have enough time to edit videos all the time.
Say my name, cunt!
What the fuck?
Say my fucking name! Bitches love cannon. Say my fucking name! Alright, you know goddamn well what my name is. Don't give a fuck. Oi, oi, bitch.
Okay. I'll listen to it again.
Bitches love cannon. Say my fucking name! Alright, you know goddamn well what my name is.
Damn. I wish we would stop auto playing shit. A few notes. I'm trying to like figure out a word to use for this other note I have. I guess that makes sense.
Bitches love cannon. Take my fucking name. Alright, you know goddamn well what my name is. Don't give a fuck.
Okay, I guess that's all the notes I have really. Okay. So first things first, let's go from top down. The background, scream. I said stream. What the fuck? Scream. Background scream is really drowned. So you can hear that.
Bitches love cannon.
It's right there. It goes. Wah, wah. It's very just sitting in the back, like not loud enough. It becomes a problem when you have a sound that's very half-assed. It's like you're not committing towards the sound and you're not taking it back or removing it. You're like kind of like, I want this sound, but it's not good enough for it to be in the front of the mix, so I'm gonna just turn it down. And it sits in that really awkward place where it's like just living in limbo. You hear it there, but it's not adding to anything. It just makes it messier. So you need to make a clear choice. Are you going to keep the scream or are you not? If you're going to keep it, make it louder, make it more prominent, and accentuate that screaminess. Like you could just add a peak curve and just make that the scream part, I guess. You could add a peak curve and put it at the scream part and make it more bright, screamy valley, whatever, more tonal, I guess. But you need to make it more present in the mix. It's sitting in this really weird spot right now, and that's not good. It sounds like a mistake, and it sounds like you don't know what you're doing with your sound staging. It's just like sitting in the back doing nothing. Your mix is very dry. There are like it's kind of in tandem with it being mono and just the poor use of stereo. You have like no stereo happen. There's no stereo effects. The most stereo thing you have in here is like your hi-hat and your crash, which I can kind of hear them being panned left and right, which is kind of good, but it's not enough. Your basses are all like mono sitting in one spot. They're not doing any like changes in the stereo. They're not adding space. When you're making dubstep, the only thing you have are basses. It's different from say like trance music or like even any mode of music really. Like most music that is melodic or even metal, for example, they beef their sounds up a lot. Like they make it big, wide, like literally metal songs that have really heavy riffs and just breakdowns. Dude, they record a ton of guitars. Like they have 6, 7, 8 layers of just guitars playing. Even though it's all playing one note sometimes, maybe they'll play a power chord or an octave below or an octave up. You know, they put a lot of effort into layering and making big and wide. You should be putting the same approach to this where you're trying to make your basses as big as possible. You don't have the advantage of having like harmonics or chords or like a lead playing on top or like someone singing a chant or whatever. You don't have that luxury in bass music. So you have to make do with your 1 or 2 instruments that are bass sounds and make them as big as possible. And the way you do that is just add reverb, you can add some chorus. There's tons of ways you can do it. But you need to beat those sounds up as much as possible. So the very dry mix, you should add some background elements that boost up your basses and are correlated for basses. So like adding reverb from your bass or a reverb bus that just adds stereo width. You can also get the high end of your bass and add the one I like to use a lot is dimension expander. So like in instrument effects, like for example, you just put it on the top part of the bass, turn up the dimension expander mix up and then turn the size down, and then it's more stereo. Like pretty easy, right? You could get a filter. There's a rear filter, all passes filter, Cohen's filter. If you turn the pan knob up, it'll change the cutoff from the left channel to the right channel, so it'll be a slight phase difference, but it makes it sound stereo. You can do that too. There's tons of way to make it more wet and just bigger sounding, more exciting. Tons of ways you can do that. Just process it more and group them together into a bus so they're all processed at the same time instead of just copying the same effects over and over again. The kick sidechain is too short. There's no real pushing or pulling of the sound. It just feels like the kick is just playing and it's doing its thing. It's not making a groove. It's not like making a lot of space with the kick. The kick isn't able to punch through that hard, which I don't know is your creative choice. I wouldn't expect it to be because you're trying to make tear out, and tear out is very revolving on the drums and having the drums be really heavy and impactful, with the bass like playing some rhythm of some kind around the drums. So the transient is too quiet. I think it's a mix of things. You have like a clap layer with your snare, and the clap, usually the way claps work is they have like 3 or 4 transients kind of lined up, and that's what makes a clap sound. If you look up any clap tutorial on how to make like a 909 clap, for example, they'll usually have like 3 peaks at the very start to make it seem like there's a group of people clapping, you know. If you ever had like a group of people clap, those are all just like different transients layered over each other and it just sounds kind of nice. So it mixes with the transient of the snare and kind of makes it sound bad. Best suggestion for that is if you do have the clap layer and it's not just like a rendered audio thing, take the clap layer, take a transient processor, and just turn down the attack. That way the transient on the snare can cut through more and it's more present. And if it's still a problem, you can just take the snare and then turn up the transient on that. And you have to get a transient processor. Just make sure that it is boosting just a transient, not anything else. You have to make it really, really, really fast. And the sub is not glued to the bass. What I mean by this, this is kind of like a more unorthodox thing to say, like just it being glued to the bass. People think of like glue compressor, for example. But when it's not glued to the bass, I'm talking about the phase relationship between the bass and the top layer. There's almost no correlation. It sounds like they're completely separate, right? Like in your mind, you could separate them in your mind and then completely clear them out. If you send this to AI, it'll be able to tell that the bass is completely different. You want to kind of make it seem like it's part of the bass a little bit. The trick I like to do a lot that I've been sharing around recently with my friends for like years actually, is to just get a group with the sub and the bass, like your main bass bus. Just take them all together and saturate it just a little bit, so that way they're all kind of meshed together. Just some saturation, maybe some EQ, just small, very small things that can mix it together. Even OTT would work, but that has its own problems, but it's just processing it all together. The drop is very mono. I think that was a little bit what I was talking about with it being very dry, but you want to pan things out left and right and just make them wider. One of the things I pointed out with the Scream is that it's kind of sitting in a weird limbo spot, and you can also make that adjustment in its stereo space. So the Scream could be really wide, or vice versa, it could be really mono and your other bass is really wide. You need to utilize that stereo space because stereo is a very important tool when it comes to mixing. It allows you to create space for things, and you're using a stereo mixdown. It's not like everything's a mono. If it was a mono, it would be a completely different story, but you can utilize that stereo space accordingly. Your use of stereo is really poor. I noticed your hi-hats and crashes are the only thing that is stereo. You can do a lot more. You can pan even more stuff left and right. You can have it alternate. You can have the vocals do some weird shit. One cool thing that you can do is you could have the vocal be playing twice. One instance of the vocal is pitched it's pitched semi-cent down, or sorry, no, fuck. It's pitched a half note down, and the other instance would be pitched a half note up. And then one instance would be pan left and one would be pan right. So it would sound really weird in your ears, but it would be stereo. So you can do that. You just need to work smarter with stereo. I think if you just simply think about your stereo imaging more and think about how to make things more stereo, you'll just simply make a better song, because I guarantee right now, stereo imaging is not on the forefront of your mind, and you probably didn't think about it that much when you're making this, but that's the biggest problem in this, is making it sound big and fat. But yeah, that's all the notes I have for this one. I got a lot of comments coming in. Which do you think is better and more profitable for a producer's life? Is it sample packs, selling projects, or something else? There's a bunch of pathways a producer can take. The ones that dubstep producers take most often is doing sample packs, because they're known for sound design and doing a lot of stuff. So, like, making sample packs is really easy for them. It does make them a lot of money. You can also become a ghost producer for some people. I've done that quite a few times. And I mean, it's good, but you don't get work that often. And it's like, if someone finds another person, then you're kind of out of work. So it's not a reliable job to have, but it is nice and it does pay well. Your best bet would be to do DJing. I think that's pretty consistent and can get you a lot of notoriety. But production companies are actually pretty dang good. So, like sample pack companies, of course. The thing that helped me a lot with clap producing is purchasing the sample pack. That is very true. You said opposite. Looking through Imager, the entire track is wall-to-wall image, so I don't know what's going on unless it's just panning that needs to be done. I wonder if it's my headphones that's making me feel like it's not that stereo. I got new headphones and I got new ear pads, so I had to like kind of adjust to it. So it doesn't sound that stereo to me. But I can still tell there's not a lot of room that's being added. Things like reverb would still apply, and chorus as well. Chorus I've been using a lot in my basses for just general like wideness. What did you use for adding stereo? Did you just use like a dimension expander?
Alright, you know goddamn well what my name is.
Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. Like I've seen that show or something. Ghost producing also in a dubstep scene, may I ask? Yeah, ghost producing is in a dubstep scene. But I mean, you can do production for rap artists as well. Rap artists like that shit a lot. I know a lot of dubstep people that I worked with, even that like made Tear Out, they would end up making a hyperpop for like other producers, or like people who just want to sing that shit. So it is an avenue you can go to. Alvo, to respond to it, yeah, panning should be utilized more, and it's also contrasting the stereo imaging. I gave the example of having one bass being really wide and one being really mono, not completely mono given, obviously, but one being wider than the other one. Yeah, I'm only using reverb for throws because I like dry stuff. Riff is adding a ton of width along distortion. I don't tend to mess with stuff like wider imager for widening. Okay, that's fair. I never really used Riff. I've used it once. I don't know if I liked it. Well, I think producing, or sorry, just like busting everything together, all your basses with the sub would help tremendously. If you know what I mean by that, I don't know if you use FL or Ableton or whatever, but just have them all your basses and everything put into one bus, and then just saturate it just a little bit, because you're having that phase correlation be put onto the sub. The sub is influencing all the other basses to be in phase with it, basically. And so it just sounds nice and crunchy, and it molds together really nice. Yeah, I think I ran the sub off on its own into the master. It can work in some cases, but I think, at least for like tear out stuff, if you're doing tear out, you really want to smash the sub and the bass together, because I mean, the whole point of tear out is that's really crunchy, and the low end adds a bunch of tones. Oh, well, I've used FL, so, but you can just like take the basses, right click into a new insert track, and just hit route to this track only, and then have it all be routed to one track, and then send that track to like your sidechain bus or whatever. You can do that thing. Um, One tip I would say is, I can tell your bass has harmonics on it. I think a cool trick you could do is take all the harmonics off, just have it just be the first harmonic, just a clean sine wave. And then once you process it with the basses, it'll naturally add those harmonics back. So you won't have those harmonics being double processed, and then, just being more muddy. In your opinion, would you say the more important the sound is, the wider it should be, or is it the way around? Or is it more of a taste thing? Um, it's kind of like, the more important sound should be the most dry sound. Uh, Dry as in, it shouldn't have as much reverb or everything else. So technically, it should be more mono, but it's very relative. So you don't want your main bass to be completely mono. You want to be very wide and big. But if you have a bass contrasting it, let's say like a scream bass, if the scream bass is wider than your main bass, and it's also washed out with reverb more, and sitting in the back more, then it would make sense for that scream bass to be wider and just pushed out more than your main dry bass. And that's the way you should be doing it. So in that way, yes, but it has to be relative to what you're processing against. It has to have something to anchor. Some wide alternative plugins rather than dimension expander, because sometimes I want to make a wider plucky sound become wider without giving some table. Bode, Serum 2, if you go to Serum 2 effects, Bode is actually really, really good. I've been fucking with it a lot. If you just turn up the wideness knob, it just makes it sound really good. But I use it a little bit. You can consolidate and cut the clip, but sometimes it's kind of lazy. The latest song I sent has so many moments in which the sound is completely 100% mono. Yeah, it's not wrong in the fact. Very good. Hey, Neo Chrono. What is up? I saw you submitted for Dub Duels. Might check it out. I already submitted my vote. I didn't even hear it yet. I'm just lying. I did hear it. It was good. Okay. And what's the next one? Next submission. And thank you, Alvo GTR, for your submission. Very wholesome. Very wholesome. Thank you. Hope you submit another one soon. Alright, we have Basty. I literally used 3 FLPs for this round. Bro, you're going all in. That's kind of wild. I still regret mine. I wish I had one more day. Just one more day. What is this, huh? What is this little guy? What is that? Man, I'll never forget the time someone compared me to Nasco, and they said that Nasco was like perfect He was the perfect producer, and he was like the top tier. And I was like, oh, damn. Oh yeah, I know it's special compressor. I bought this thing. I had to live up to NASCO standards. He's really good, but I don't know if I can make fucking plugins, man. Like that's a lot. I'm a little fucking papega. I don't know how to use plugins or make them. I man, I would use plug data a lot more, but I've recently had an issue with plug data like hard clipping all my sounds to 0 dB. Like if a sound is slightly louder, it'll just hard clip it. And it's really annoying because I don't want to do that, and I have to like add a gain knob before and after plug data to make sure it doesn't clip. But yeah. Let's get right into this one. Basty. You can turn off the clipping thing. I don't know where it is. I didn't look that hard, to be fair, but
Space research that the U.S. insists on being successful before a man makes an orbital flight. This is one.
this is sick. Whoa.
Behind the strange signal is an alien intelligence that knows all.
What's up, Zapper? Damn. That's good. I like it. Your drums are chunky as flip. I can't swear. Sorry. They're chunky as flip, man. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It's like a nice complete song. I had no qualms with it. The clipping is in this build up right here. It's a little apparent, but it's not like a huge thing. The biggest issue though is your sub. Your sub is very lacking, and it's because of your pitch mod. When you have pitch mod and you're playing rhythms like right here, it's fine because your rhythm is so slow relative to this. When you're playing a rhythm this fast, your pitch mod is not going to even catch up to the low part of the sub. So it's just like constantly in the high notes, and all you're hearing is just the very top of the pitch bend, and that's it. You need to make the pitch mod faster, like way faster. I think it would sound fine even in both situations, in the first drop and the second drop, but you need to make it faster. Also, I need to point out that like your 100 hertz to 200 hertz is very muddy. Like it's really, really loud. And I think it sounds good for the drums. Your drums kind of punch really hard in there. That's the region where your kick gets its punchiness and your snare gets that really like fundamental sound. Just put that effect on the drums, the kick and the snare, but leave the basses alone. So just cut that region out a little bit in those basses, and then it'll sound better. And then of course, like boost the sub. I'd say boost it probably 2 decibels in my mind. That's what I'm thinking right now. 2 decibels would be sounding good. Your drums are just so nice and chunky though. I love the sound of those drums. Big chunk. Yeah, in your basses, the rhythm is nice. I like your really fast rhythm, but it loses me after a little bit. Like there has to be some bit of repetitiveness. But I know you only asked for mastering, so I'm gonna keep the mastering. But it's just something I thought I should bring up. Anyways, pretty dang good drop. Want to check the new Dub Duels rounds? Maybe. I may just like go through it and vote real quick, but I'm not gonna spend that much time on it. But yeah, thank you for the submission, Basty. Very nice. I think I saw your stuff on Twitter, like yesterday. Very good stuff. Love to hear it. Keep going. Right, and the next one. That's it for all the Patreon submissions. I have a submission from Alvo. Another one, I think. Is it this one? Oh yeah, this is the one you sent me. Okay. I had 2 from you, apparently. Okay, so the next one's gonna be Quantum Path. You guys remember that artist, Quantum, from Monster Cat? Whatever it was. It was Monster Cat, right? Didn't he? Wasn't like the owner of Monster Cat? It was like Quantum. Gosh, what was it? Quantum something? Was it just Quantum? Oh, Going Quantum. I know they're like basically the founder of Monster Cat, but man, they were not that good.
Hello.
Man, that's like his only song. Well, whatever. This little guy. Typically, bad producers or like washed up ones become managers or like label owners eventually. Oh, damn. That was fucking. That was a whiplash. Okay, well, I can't comment too much about. Oh my gosh, they have so much notes. They have so many things they want to say. They only want feedback on the mixing, so I just realized that. So a lot of this isn't even relevant on my notes, but whatever. They can just take it or leave it. He said, first of all, thank you for the advice. The mono white noise is a Joe B trick he used in Chainsaw, where he distorted white noise and sort of get it and high pass it as a sample. I have a folder full of these I use on my songs, and never thought about making them stereo. Anyways, I fixed this issue in the sub by changing my processing routing. This is a brand spanking new ID, and I have some concerns. 26 seconds to build up kind of feels empty. Last time you mentioned to work on my build up, but I'm not sure how. 12 seconds, the transition also feels kind of sudden. Any advice? And 37 seconds, cool drop, bro. Let's see in chronological order. 12 seconds, you're not sure what how the transition is? What's up, Futsu? How can you send tunes? You would go into my Patreon and just join as a member, and then you can submit there. You can join totally free. This transition isn't bad. Okay, so you did the transition correctly. What you didn't do correctly is the bass riff is not playing the right notes. It sounds really weird, and I feel uncomfortable. Also, your hi-hats are just really annoying here. your hi-hats are way louder than a lot of your other instruments, and it just feel like little needles like poking my eardrums. So turn them down, make them about the same loudness as your other instruments. Yeah, you can submit for free for Patreon feedback submissions, but people who subscribe to the $10 a month will be able to skip the line every week. And they also get like some other perks too. You can look at all the perks for the $10 one. Your hi-hats are also like completely stereo. That's probably why it feels so absurd, because it feels really wide and like loud and hitting my ears. So just like I think just turning it down would be cool. Transition just fine. Because about the build up, it feels empty. The reason why it sounds empty is because you are continuing this melody. Stop the riff. Stop the riff, stop the melody, stop anything melodic that's happening. Just cut it. Hard cut it, or just make a new song. I don't know. What you need to do instead is take the bass, put it back in the buildup, or have some instrument playing the same rhythm as the bass, and just layer it, bandpass it, and just fade it in slowly in the buildup. And then there's your drop, because you want to tease a sound. You want to tease a sound in the buildup so that your listener's anticipating that rhythm and it feels more cohesive, and it like makes them feel satisfied. When something happens, you're like building up to something, and then it happens and it hits. That's like satisfaction. When you are expecting something and it happens, it feels nice and good. It's only good to have unexpected things when you're like every time you get something right. You know, if you're like watching a movie and you guess every single plot point to a perfect T, you like already know what's happening, it gets really boring. You're like, oh, well, I've been right 3 times in a row about what this character's gonna do. If I'm guessing they're gonna do this, they're probably gonna do it, and it's not fun. Like, I don't want to watch this anymore. But if the character's unpredictable, but in an interesting way, you're like, that's pretty cool. I never thought I'd do it this way. You know, you start getting more invested, and you don't realize how much that influences your satisfaction. So you need to tease the sound a little bit in the build up so your listener knows what's coming up. It's also just honestly easier for DJs to do anyways, but just tease the sound a little bit, and then you have a drop. And also, generally you want to cut anything that is not in the drop when the buildup ends right here. You saw the pad thing playing, which is not good. Sounds like you have reverb on the sub or something. I don't know what's going on with that. Your sub has just a really loud harmonic. Sounds like it's being distorted to shit. Sounds so much better if the sub was cleaner, not so distorted. I like the bass sound design, but also doing this like A/B thing with your bass, which is good, but the way you're executing it is really bad. You are like kind of changing the tone up and down, or up and down, up and down. You don't realize that when you have it shift downwards in pitch, that you're losing a lot of that energy. Like, listen to how bright this bass sound is. And then when it goes down in this lower pitch, it loses all that energy. Now, why is that happening? My prediction is that you have a lot of distortion on it. And so when that peak is higher up in the frequency, it allows those overtones to go higher up as well. You know, if you're distorting a high frequency, your overtones are going to be in a higher frequencies as well. But if it's lower, your overtones are gonna only go so high up. A easy way to fix this is instead of using a soft clipper or some kind of soft saturation, use a hard clipper instead. Like use actual hard clipping. You'll get way harsher tones, which you need to compensate for, but at least it'll be consistent. So even though that you're distorting like a lower tone, you'll still get those nice bright harmonics in there. So just add a hard clipper or something that is not as soft. You could add a little bit of softness, but not that much. Just have it more harsh. Do you accept the melodic stuff? Yes, I do. I accept any genre. Spread the word. I literally made future bass in like complextro and electro and fucking house when I was younger, so I can do all that stuff. I'm happy with the stereo wideness of your song. It feels nice and wide and just big, so back to you. I think your kick is completely just fucked though. Your kick is not hitting through at all. Your kick needs to be clickier. It's really just low passed, and your clap is really bright. Your bass is super bright as well, so have the kick have like a clicky transient or something. I think some kind of like techno trancey kick transient for the kick would sound good. Yeah, but that's all the feedback I have for this one. Thank you for submitting Quantum Path. Now on to the next one. Next one is Modion. Modion. Never heard this name before. Lowest point of life.
Mode on SW.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Punk alarm. Fucking, oh my gosh. All right. Oh my fuck. Oh my fuck. Stop, bro. Oh, okay. We're back in the ICU, fucking dying from cancer. Okay, well, this person said that they've been prison for only a year, and they're just a little beginner. So honestly, for a beginner, this is not bad at all. You have a lot of the fundamentals down, but there's a lot of fundamentals that you're missing still, with mixing especially. And you probably heard me react to one of them just right off the bat. So, let's talk about the intro. It's become a pet peeve of mine of having a respace play in the intro, and then it's just like a pad, and that's the whole intro. It's just that. So I give you bonus points for adding like some vocal. I don't know what the fuck she's saying, because it sounds like she's speaking in Arabic or like Russian. I can't tell. She's like so fucking quiet. But damn, that ICU sounding heart beeper thing is really annoying. I don't know if I like it at all. You could replace it with a whole different instrument entirely, honestly, and I'd probably like it way more. But not as this. It sounds like I'm literally in like an ICU and like I'm about to fucking die, and the woman speaking is my mommy, and she's like talking to me, trying to make sure I'm staying alive or something. Like, or it's like the nurse like saying, "He only has 10 seconds to live. He only has 2 minutes 38 seconds to live. Let's play this song." You know, it's just like a weird vibe you're setting, and you want to set the vibe and have it be a cool vibe. And the vibe I'm getting from this, I don't know if you mean it or not, but it feels like I'm in an ICU, like dying, like literally. So just be conscious of that. You could replace the instrument and make it sound a little bit different. I feel like if you made it like a more, I don't know, Nordic or classical instrument, it would sound like some like horror thing. Like they're praying to, I don't know if they're praying or what. They're saying something. I have no idea what they're saying even. Make it like they're like have a witch or something. Just some kind of horror aesthetic, that would be cool. That's so far so fine. And then this fucking chipmunk ass voice comes in. I have no idea what that said. And it was also really fast and very sudden and very loud. This part's pretty cool though. I like the rhythm you have going on. The riff is pretty nice. The only thing is that I can't hear the guitars that well because you have a really rumbly low bass going on. When you have a mix, you want to prioritize one instrument over the other most of the time. And when it comes to like the low end and like the sub and stuff, you only want that space to be dominated by like an instrument or like one instrument at most, or maybe even two. But it's just in general, mixing low end is such a nightmare that people usually just avoid it and only like they'll just cut the low end on like most instruments. In this case, you have like some other bass playing low end, and it's just a fucking fat rumble. It's completely just taking away the tone and just the feel of your guitars that are playing. I feel like if you just cut that low rumble synth you have playing and just let the guitars play through and cut through the low end of the mix, it would sound a lot better. Oh, fuck. See, it scared me again. Dude, turn these snares down. They are way too loud. That actually fucking jump scared me. There is no fucking reason for these snares to be that loud. They are peaking like 6 decibels above where it's supposed to be peaking. Yeah, these vocals are insanely quiet. I don't know what's going on with that, but turn them up. They're the loudest fucking snare in the world, and then you're gonna have quiet ass vocals like this. That's the other thing that I was talking about with having space in your low end and why having multiple instruments in the low end is a nightmare. It's because it sounds really, really, really messy. Like I can hear all the different just things mulging into one low end rumbly ass mess. cut the low end on like almost all your instruments and just have one of them have the sub, or cut the low end on all of them and just make a new sub and have it play, because it just sounds like a mess right now. It's funny how your snare is cutting through pretty well, but your kick is just getting drowned in all this like mess and shit. You definitely need to have a clickier kick because all your basses are really high and heavy, and your low end is just so rumbly. You cannot distinct the kick from just the rumbliness of the basses all playing at once. I mean, your rhythms are sounding fine. Same advice. You know, vocals also really quiet here too. This thing sounded like it came out of nowhere. I don't know why you added this part in. Just seems like such a cut and change in the vibe. You should have the bass guitar playing something there in this section. Well, yeah, that's about all the feedback I have for you, honestly. Just a lot to work on. So just look at my notes and just use that as like your guide moving on. But yeah, thank you for your submission. Hope to see you on another stream. Hope that helped. Right, so we'll move on. Jocks. Jocks, are you here? Here, are you there? Are you square? Are you bear? Yawn. Okay, I mean that was pretty short, but damn, I liked it. You wanted mixing or feedback on the mixing and strong structure. He said, I started this draft with a catchy flow pattern as a foundation, I think, but it seems overly complicated now as I work on it. Also, the mixing starts to get muffled. I'm not sure how to finish the project. Okay. Well, I like the intro. The intro's good. I instantly noticed your high end the bass just kind of feels weird. So as to give a notch or something just in the high end. An easy way to fix this is just get like I don't know what plugin you use, but you can use Saturn and just have a band distort the high end. Or you could get multipass from Kilohertz, add another band, have it be up like to 10k hertz or something, really high up, and have that range just get like distorted. Just add distortion to it, and then it'll like flatten out the high end, and then also boost at the same time. So it'll just kind of excite it a little bit. I think that is what it's called, by the way. It's like exciting, like an exciting band. But you can excite those frequencies by just distorting the high end. And that should fix it for the most part. But also, your song just sounds like the sub is just so loud, and that's the other thing I was gonna say is your sub is like overly dominating the mix. It does sound good, but it's just too loud. Like you can turn down a decibel or two and just see how it sounds, but it's for sure too loud. I just don't know how much louder or how too loud it is, I guess. Okay, so if you're having trouble with it sounding too complicated, just have a distinguished rhythm. So you have like a core rhythm, right, that you said you had. Just build off of that, and the main components you want to maintain is having repetition, and you want to make sure it plays enough repetition but doesn't get too boring where the listener doesn't just knows what's going to happen next, like knows what sound. You want to keep it unpredictable, but in a comfortable way. So you have like these different A and B things. It feels like the first 8 bars of the drop is the A part, and then you get into this part, and it's like the B part, right? And then it gets into like a C. Yeah, you want to be repetitive, but you don't want to be too repetitive where it gets annoying. And that's like up to your own judgment. I think you should split up these sections into smaller sections. This is A section, and this B section, and it has like a C section, which is another just different sound. And then it just kind of falls apart completely here. Like, I don't really know what's going on. It plays this different bass too. Have them play, instead of like 8-bar loops where it changes from section to section, make it 4-bar loops. So it goes from A to B and then A to B. Or you could do like A, B, and then A, C. In that way. So A. And this would be C, or sorry, this would be B. If you're following. And then this would be C. Do you follow? A, B, and then C. This would be C. So have it be A, B, A, C, and the next part would be A, B, A, C with some variation. You want to keep the rhythm relatively simple though. Easiest way is to have the first 16 bars. If you're doing a 32 bar drop, the first 16 bars will be relatively simple, and then the next 16 bars will be more complicated as you go on. So you can make it even more glitchy and all that stuff. It's like this stuff we're getting kind of crazy with the rhythms. You can save that to the later parts of the end where everything is just kind of getting crazy and you're like flexing a little bit. But it is that. Let me see. Very Joe B sounding, I must say. The other thing I was gonna say is the snare is just not a right choice. Just change the snare entirely. The snare that I think would work better is one that is more just higher pitch, honestly. I think a higher pitch snare would sound a lot better. But yeah, I mean, good job. Thank you for your submission, Jux. Hope that helps. Oh wow, we have a submission by the name of Bunny Bloodbath. Alright, Bunny Bloodbath, I just accidentally copied your notes. Oopsies. Reddit. Fuck. There you go. Holy shit. That fucking scared the fuck out of me. Okay, wait, let's listen to what they have to say. I struggle with having a full sounding mix without it being too distorted and shit. I like how you added in shit. My problem is I often boost my sub too much, but I can't help myself. Lol lol lol. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's take a listen. Okay, well, I'm mostly worried about like a full mix. This intro is really unattractive because it's so loud and atonal, and you have these loudest drums that come out of nowhere. I think you need to just add more. That sounds like incomplete. So I know you said you struggle with making it sound full and you want to have a really fat sub, but you're like addicted to just distorting to shit. An easy fix for this. If you're addicted to making your sub really loud and then throwing it into the master really loud, instead of doing that, put the sub in with just the bass and have the bass and the sub together in a mixer channel where they're in the same effects chain, and then put distortion on it, and then distort just the sub and the bass. And that way you get the nice distortion that's crunchy and full and big sounding, and doesn't fuck up your drums, doesn't fuck up your hi-hats, doesn't fuck up your master. It's just on the bass. That's all it's on. And then if you want to add that nice tone to your drums, you could just separate them and just have them process in a different way entirely. And that would save you a lot of headache. Like, this whole thing is just so loud. Whenever I critique songs that are this loud in volume and that has this much clipping, it's really hard for me to critique because I can't tell what frequencies are actually causing trouble or what's going on because it's so loud, and I honestly can't discern how loud something is in comparison. Like, the advice that works the best is just turn it down. But it always just devolves into that. And of course, if you turn off the master, then I could pinpoint things a lot easier. Like, maybe your bass is just so insanely loud. Maybe your bass is actually just a sine wave, but because you're boosting it so much, it sounds like a different tone. I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know that at all. I think song structure wise, this is a really poor choice to make because this drop is not strong. It's a very weak drop. Operate with a philosophy that the first drop is going to be the first impression of the listener that is playing your song. If your first drop is not good, they're not going to like the song at all. They aren't going to give the second drop a chance. They aren't going to give anything else a chance. The first 3 seconds of your drop is the most important 3 seconds of your song. You want to leave a good impression. And then you go to this section. This section is so much better. It has melodic complexity to it. It has a lot of depth into it. It's got it just sounds better in general. Like, it sounds less distorted somehow. But you have a lot more going on in this section. Like, even your drum patterns are way better and way different, more interesting. Just overall way better. So instead, move this drop to be the first drop. Put this here. And then put the first drop into the second drop. And there you go. And people want that dumb fucking quarter note bullshit, they can play a second drop, and you can use it as a DJ tool. I mean, that's mostly how they're going to be used anyway. If you do like quarter note drops, they're going to be used as DJ tools. So but I think it's so much stronger if you do it that way. Or you could be a little sly with it and have these melodic parts be the B part. So, or like the B or A, either one. So like it would be 16 bars of this melodic thing. And then the next part would be just the atonal kind of quarter note thing, if you get what I mean. Yeah, not much to comment onto this. I mean, you have just like this distorted harmonic thing. I like how you're using old school drums. They sound pretty cool. You know, they're very mono. You should have some kind of wide effect to make it seem bigger. I think your side chain should be really sharp and then be a little bit longer. Your kicks and drums only sound good because they're so fucking loud. But if you turn them down a little bit, which I'm expecting you to do, just turn it down 3 decibels, and then just process your bass separately with distortion and all that stuff. It's only sticking out because it's so insanely loud and hitting your master at like plus 30. You don't want that to happen. So, but yeah, I mean, that's what the best feedback I have. The number one thing you need to do though is process the bass and the sub together, and that will save you a lot of headache. So just do that, and then keep me updated if it sounds better or not. But yeah, thank you for submitting. All right, Neo Chrono, it's your time to shine. Are you gonna win the dub duels, Neo Chrono? Neo Chrono? Neo Chrono? Neo Chrono. No problems in particular. One of your favorite IDs? Oh geez. Okay, sick fucking melody off the rip. Oh, fuck. Damn, son. All right. Well, I'll be blunt. It's not my favorite of your IDs. I have some other stuff from you that I liked a lot more, but it's still pretty damn good. I really like the melody here. Like, it sounds really fucking good. That is a good hook too. That is a very memorable lead. So very good job. It does get really weird in this section though. Like this transition. It sounds kind of wrong there. it's like ending on the tonic for some reason. When the last chord should resolve into the tonic, and the chord before should complement it or have like a good, fuck, what's the word? Oh my gosh. It needs to have good voicing. Your voicing is off on this. Typically when you resolve chords to the tonic, you want it to be either a fifth or a fourth because they voice really well on the tonic chord. So you should change the chordation a little bit at the very end. It doesn't resolve that well. Well, sounds good. The first impact sounds good. My main gripe is just the use of bias. Also, it's too loud. Your master is just being pushed too hard, and it's making the sub too muddy. It's making the mids too clunky and just too much. That's I don't have any other word to say. It's just too loud and present in the mids. Now okay, so I love bias because it makes it sound really crunchy. Here's where it becomes like the issue. Bias sounds really good on the sub, right? It makes it sound really crunchy, and when it's paired with like a sub tone, it kind of influences the tone to be crunchy too. It's almost like it's doing some kind of FM, or not FM, ring mod or amplitude modulation or something like that. It just makes it sound crunchy, right? Now, excuse me. Now, it becomes a problem when it's just bias on there and it's the same influence the entire time. When I use bias and I'm putting it on a gun bass, I take away the bias on the transient. So, on the really big parts of the bass that don't have a lot of sub or just aren't dominated by the sub, I guess, you want to take the bias away from that because you want to let those upper harmonics shine. If everything just sounds like it's being ring modded to oblivion, then you aren't going to really have that much of a difference in the tone. So the bias is influencing the bass too much. You need to lean off the bias just in general. Just take away the wetness of it a bit, and then modulate the wetness to be like playing with the rhythm of your bass, so that way it doesn't seem like it's just on the entire time. Also just helps with accentuating rhythms anyways, like just a given. The sub is also really muddy because of this. There's a lot of that grittiness in the 200 hertz range, but it's just too present, and it makes it just kind of like it sounds way too crazy. The thing about this song, which I think is the core thing I want to get at, is that there's no real motif happening here. There's some really cool sounds going on here, but there's not a moment in this drop where the sub doesn't just like stop for a second. I feel like the sub is just constantly playing, and there's no room for you to gasp for air or for a motif to play. A motif just has something that is in the drop that is really identifiable. It could just be like Sanazine or something, like the Purple Lamborghini yoink. You could have just be like that or something. I'm not saying that you should be that, but something like that that uses the same purpose as the Purple Lamborghini yoink. You want to have space. You want to space it out. Have a motif in there. Do a fucking like vocal, a shout, something that's recognizable where you can pinpoint to the song, or it can be Sanazine, whatever you want. Just have moments in there where there's room to breathe. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, really good song. I really like it. I really like this part too. Very fast. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this one. Whenever you send me stuff, I don't have that much to comment on because you got all this stuff nailed down so well. So I appreciate you sending your stuff over to me, and getting my thoughts on it. Hope that helps, and yeah, thanks for submitting. Moving on. We got Zapper. I saw this guy come in not too long ago. Zapper, are you here? Are you there? Are you square? Oh. Oh well. Okay. Sorry, Zapper. It's been removed. You're disqualified. If you have get it somewhere, just resubmit it and I'll get to it in the next one. I will start doing a submission review of Futsu. But send it yours in and I'll do yours next. Futsu. Futsu. Alright, Futsu.
If you wanna be so far back, if you wanna disappear from me, what did I do to deserve this? It's so hard to forget everything all over again, 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 all over again,
Oh shit. Oh jeez. You guys hear me still? It says that YouTube stopped responding. Hello? Okay. We good, chat? Let me know if you guys can still hear me or not. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Okay. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Man, I just started freaking out again. I like dropped a bunch of frames just suddenly out of nowhere. Okay, well, I guess we'll move on. I'll go back. Fuck. Oh, fuck. This lead fucks. Alrighty, Futsu. That sounds really good. Damn, I was surprised. Okay. Well, your mod composition seems to be pretty on par. So there's literally nothing that stands out melodically that seems out of place. And if anything else is pointed out, I'll just say it. I'm sure it's nice. So your vocals here, I know you said that these are your vocals. They do sound good, but you have some like processing on them I think could be better. So the form and pitching that you're doing, it's a bit too high up, and it's getting that to a range where I can't tell what you're saying, and it's hard for me to read or hear what your vocals are. And I think it's really important if you have vocals and lyrics, especially on there, you wrote those vocals in there. You want your audience to be able to hear them, and it also allows your audience to connect to your vocals and remember it and literally sing along with it if they want to. There's a bunch of reasons why you want your audience to understand what you're saying in your vocal recording. So just pitch the formant down a little bit, the formant. If you know what that is, like on Stretch Pro, if you're using FL Studio, it's like a Stretch Pro thing. You can turn the formants down. Something like that. I think you know what I'm talking about, but just make it more understandable what you're saying. Also, the distortion on your vocals is too harsh. You should try out some different distortions. There's loads of different ones. You can do like some kind of soft saturation. You could do a drive, overdrive distortion. You could even do bias distortion. Or you could just get like a sine shaper if you wanted to. There's also just a ton of other different shapes. You could get a wave shaper and just play around with it a little bit. The one I use a lot, specifically for vocals, is Little Ultra Boy. I don't know if you are using that one or not. If you are, then just tone it down a little bit. But otherwise, it's too harsh. Sorry about that. And the master is also just in general too loud. And also a good job of your build up. It was getting more mono, and you did some reverb, and just generally good job. I think it became a little too mono, like it was too noticeable. When you do the trick with stereo separation, you want to make it kind of unnoticeable and seamless. This is a bit too much here. But yeah, your master is just really distorted here. Just turn that down a lot. If you want that really overblown effect, just put the distortion on specific instruments you want it on, because having your master do all the hard work not only makes it really harder for you to master or mix in general, it also just makes it sound more clunky. When everything has the same distortion at the same loudness, it just sounds like you're just driving it too much and you're making a mistake doing it. So turn the whole thing down and distort what you want to distort, if it's a kick or the vocals or whatever. Also, you have these chords that are playing. I didn't really specify that much with the notes, but you need to change the tone variation a little bit. So I'm not sure in what way you made it. It sounds like you have some kind of resonator playing or vocoder thing. Just mess around with the pitch of it or the formant of it. Just kind of change the tone somehow, the timbre. Have the timbre just play like an LFO or something. And then it won't sound so weird. I also think the chords are distorting. I don't know if you do that intentionally or not, but it doesn't sound good when the chords are distorting. So just putting that out of there. It sounds really nice too. But yeah, I enjoy it. Good submission. Good job. Thank you so much for submitting, Futsu. It's actually a bass one shot stretched with E3 mono and chopped up to little one shots. The little chords. So you're talking about the chords? Okay. Um, is it distorting in the master, or did you add distortion to it? Because either way, it doesn't sound good distorted. And you're welcome, Futsu. Hope that helps. Okay, then you should turn it down a little bit then. Or actually, you know what? If it's just a master, just turn the master down, and that would probably fix the problem. But yeah, thank you so much, Futsu, for submitting. Hope to see you around on a future stream. Move on to Zapper. Zapper, are you here? Zappa. Are you excited, Zapper? To finally be part of the club. Alrighty. Holy fuck, we're just starting. Damn! Let's go right into it. Fuck. Oh, okay, well, it was really short, so I didn't I couldn't type down my notes that fast. I'll just say it. Just say whatever's on my mind. Okay. Build up. Decent, I guess. Just immediately, your drums are just they're lacking so much. I don't know if it's a sidechain issue or not. It sounds like it's not even being sidechained, honestly. Yeah, what? Do you even have sidechain on at all? It doesn't sound like it's being sidechained, like in the slightest. I feel like I could kind of hear it in like the low end, but it wouldn't make sense for you to just do it in the low end like that. Doesn't that sound like you're trying to sidechain anything, dude? If you're gonna sidechain everything from the kick and snare. There's a few exceptions, right? You can not sidechain vocals. You cannot sidechain. I mean, when I say like not, I mean it's up to your choice if you want to sidechain it or not. You can choose not to sidechain vocals. You can choose not to sidechain crashes, hi-hats, like few minor things like that. But you want to sidechain mostly everything, really. Anything you don't sidechain is just space being taken away from the kick or snare. And if you want that space to happen, you need to account for it and make sure that it's not like taking it away from your drums. If you are using sidechain, but I don't hear it for some reason, I'll be baffled. It doesn't sound like you have it on. Either it is not cutting enough away from the signal for me to even notice, or it's not long enough. In any case, it just needs to be stronger in both length decay and in the ducking power. I agree with my husband. You have a pretty fat arrangement going on. It's just like your drums, if your drums are weak, then your song is weak. Um, I like the tone of the machine gun basses. I like the sub, but they sound like they are two different instruments playing. When I talked about gluing instruments together earlier, this is what I was talking about. Process the sub and the bass on top together and just meld them together. It makes the phases align, it makes the phases feel a lot nicer, it makes it sound like it's glued together, it makes it sound like it's one instrument. It sounds like two instruments we're playing right now. It sounds like the sub is playing some different notes and the bass is playing its own little thing, just high pass, being happy, chilling out. Process them together, please. And also, your rhythm, you can really emphasize the rhythm here. You can have pitch bends. So it goes like burn, dun, chung, dun, burn. Add some pitch bends that really accentuates those rhythms that you're playing. Like burn, dun, chung, dun, burn, dun, chung. Go crazy with that. Like you want to make the rhythm sound as crazy as possible, but you just have like a static note playing the entire drop. Listen to the low and it's just going bang, ding, 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 ding. Very boring. Make it sound crazier. So you're still learning things? Damn. You didn't say how many years you've been producing, so I have no idea what your skill level is. Real quick then, just like look up sidechain tutorials on YouTube. I should honestly make my own because I have a lot of experience with that. So, but honestly, any sidechain tutorial would help. If I were to recommend someone to look at sidechaining, look up. I think Virtual Riot did it recently. He did a video about sidechaining, so you just look up what he does for sidechaining. Look up what I forgot his name. What a great Dan Larson. Let's Synthesize. Yeah, Dan Larson, Let's Synthesize. Those two people, Virtual Riot and Dan Larson, just look up stuff from them on how to do sidechain, sound design, whatever, and they'll help you. So go do that. What do I use? I use FL Studio. Like a little nerd. I use Ableton too, but I prefer to use FL Studio because it's so much easier to write stuff. I'm going to kill you. I don't know what it's from. What is that vocal from? It feels like it's from a meme or something. Oh yeah, with chart like this, please add variation to your machine gun bass. Just do something like that. The easiest way to add variation is to get a frequency shifter and just shift it up in the B part. So after 16 bars, after people are bored of your bass, shift it up a little bit and call it a day. That will always please the crowds because monkey see, monkey do. They're a bunch of sheep and cattle. You're the little shepherd playing your little DJ set, and they're just little sheep trying to make a mosh pit. Also, your sub has too many overtones. You need to clean the sub up a little bit. Just have the main clean sub play the loudest, and then you'll be cool, like everybody else. All right, well, thank you, Zapper, for the submission. Hope you learned some cool tips. Go and look up Virtual Riot's tutorial on sidechain and the Let's Synthesize Academy stuff. They have some good stuff too. They post a lot of tutorials, so I think you should learn mainly from them. There's a lot of other people out there. That's why I pointed them out in specific, because I know if I said YouTube tutorials, they get some dog shit Brazilian funk producer that makes only drift funk and is probably using a volume automation to sidechain still, something like that. Hello, Beck. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Thanks, Agni. We're not watching YouTube right now. All right, well, yeah, I hope you find that helpful and you keep going on your sound design music journey, brother. Have a good one. Thank you for submitting. Hope to see you next week on the next feedback live stream. And next time, hopefully, I'll hear some sidechain. And I'll give you a high five if you do. Okay. Then we have Vowage. Mr. Vowage. Mr. Agni, do you do lessons? Yes, I do. I do lessons. And the lesson info is on my Discord. It's just like a channel. So just join my Discord and there's all the lesson info there if you're interested. Alright, Vowage. Let's get this show on the freaking road. I gotta actually copy your thing first and then submit it. Came from Reddit. Whoa, we have a Redditor in here. That's not okay. That's not okay. Can't have Redditors in here. And the only thing you pointed out is mixing a Sanazyme, and then your asked if it's too repetitive at 42 seconds. Well, let's take a listen.
None of those new clamps gonna get here. These are all rusted out with snitch juice.
Patience, Clamps. It is my eldest daughter's wedding day. You don't want the space pope to see you clamping now, do you?
Oh, geez. I
fuck
forgot
is
my
this from?
portmanies.
Oh, Futurama.
Clamps may have a little surprise for them.
The clamps! Right?
Oh, my reverb filter?
Clamp number one! Yeah, I do it all. Clamping, crimping, occasional snipping. Yeesh, that guy can bite my shiny metal clamps. You think? You think that maybe I should use these clamps that I use every day at every opportunity? You're a freaking genius, you idiot! Don't worry, we're in space, where no one can hear you clamp. That's got a clamp. They won't know what clamped them. This clamp that, bada clamp, bada clamp.
Okay. Well, Neochrono pointed out exactly what I was thinking. It's like way too stereo. If you were to put this in mono, it'd probably be fucking silent, man. Like, I hate being that guy to say to test it in mono because I think that's such a niche thing and it's so cringe to say, oh, you need to have your sub in mono, man. You need to check your mono compatibility. Like, it's so cringe people do that to me and then like pass it off as it's mixing advice and has as if it has like any real value to say that. But in this case, man, it's your song is so crazy stereo. Like, you need to turn down the stereo whiteness on something. It's egregious. Go on Span. It's a free plugin, Span. Download that. And you'll see a little meter on the bottom that says correlation. You can see how correlated the left and right speakers are. And 1-to-1 correlation means that the left and right waveforms are the exact same. And then 0 means that they are half correlated. And then -1 means they're completely uncorrelated, which means if they're completely uncorrelated, that once put into mono, they will be completely silent. And that's never good. You never want to be completely silent if it's in mono. It's usually passable with like the high end because the high end it doesn't really matter if it's uncorrelated or not because it's stereo, the most stereo part. But when it gets in like the lower regions of their frequency spectrum and it comes like 500 hertz below, then it becomes really noticeable, and that's when you know it's like too much. So I think the thing you're doing wrong is the reverb filter they're using. I think you're using the pan feature on reverb filter, and you are also just boosting the stereo separation on it. That's what I'm assuming you're doing. That's what it sounds like, because I've done that and I've gotten too far. I've gotten too crazy with it before. I typically promote doing that, like turning the pan up, but I when I say that, I mean it very slightly. Like turn it up just a few percentage, because it gets really crazy really fast. You boosted it on the master, yeah. Turn it all the way back down. It's just insane. Like this is the worst case of stereo wideness I've ever heard. And it's really seriously bad. But for rear filter stuff, if you have the pan any higher than like 10% from the middle, so like 40% or 60% pan, you need to tweak it down. That's too much. 60% is even pushing it. Like I probably wouldn't even go to 60% usually. It was just turn that up a few notches if you are doing that. You are using reverb filter just too much. It's also at a really low cutoff. Keep in mind that reverb filter, when you turn the cutoff up or down, think of that as like the size on actual reverb plugins. If you look at a reverb plugin like a just Reverb 2 from FL Studio image line, or Valhalla Room, or the actual size in like Serum 2, like the plugins on their little reverb filter thing, the size is like how big the room is, and the size just means like how low the cutoff is. When you turn the cutoff down on the reverb filter, that's just making the size bigger. When you turn the cutoff up, it makes the size smaller. And it was kind of confusing with that because you turn one thing down and the thing goes up. But the cutoff is just too low. So just turn the cutoff of the reverb filter up, and that should sound better. Also, when you have the cutoff down, it also kind of delays the signal. So it just delays the entire thing. Yo, I love the Rumble flip. Big up from Romania. Thank you. Thank you big much. So, the other things too is your drums are really drowned in the mix. Your clap, snare, whatever thing is just
Right?
it's just completely drowned. Like it doesn't sound too drowned in this. Like I can still kind of hear it. I think it's way worse. Like here, I can barely tell the claps even playing. So that's a big issue. That's also reason why having too much stereo loudness is a problem, is because you drown things out really fast. And your kick is also kind of suffering. I didn't know what to think of it, but it also sounds like you're not side chaining either. So,
Yeah, I do it all. Clamping, crimping, occasional snipping. Yeesh, that guy can bite my
someone say did it say that from Reddit? Did the Reddit person say that? Just telling you right now, if it's from Reddit, just disregard their opinion. I've seen some insane takes on Reddit. Yeah, don't fucking take a word they say from Reddit, dude. They're on Reddit for a reason. If they weren't on Reddit, they'd probably be doing something productive with their life. If they're a producer on Reddit, they're also either like a bitter producer who thinks they're better than everybody else, or they're just looking for attention. Don't ever believe what a fucking Redditor says, dude. Like, ever. They need to have some fucking credentials on their resume for you to even believe one word they fucking say. Don't believe that shit, man. Your clap is too quiet, and it's because it's drowned out so much. I think if you were to take the stereo away from the master, the clap would immediately start bringing It'll start like being clearer in the mix, and you could hear it better. But still, regardless, I think you need sidechain. Anyways, just sidechain the clap just a little bit. You don't have to be as long as sidechain on the kick. So just have two different sidechain plugins, one for the kick, one for the clap. Make the clap a little bit shorter, but just make sure they both punch through the mix.
Clap number one! Yeah, I do it all. Freaking genius!
I'm not gonna comment too much on like these mid sections because this is a song that is kind of riding off of whatever character this is on Futurama. So things like that, you're kind of appealing towards that fandom or people who like that character. So I'm not gonna comment much on it. It's fine for what it is. The drops though, like I said before, the refilter just needs to be cut back on the cutoff. You also don't want to turn down the mix because it'll have some weird phasing issues because this doesn't like it. So just turn the cutoff up a little bit. Yeah, turn that up. I'm sorry, I said down before, I think. Just turn the cutoff up. The sound design isn't that bad, but
Clap number one! They won't know what clapped them!
I don't sidechain the drums very much. I use a Woozer vest for my subs. What? Wait, I'm confused. What's a Woozer? Is that like the speaker that's like on your chest to make you feel bass? The thing you like strap on your body? Is that what you're talking about? Oh gosh, is my internet fucking cutting out again? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? I definitely cut out this time. It literally said I disconnect from the internet. Okay, well I think I'm back, so I forgot what I was saying. Wait, why what I'm confused. Why is having a sub vest, Woozer vest, like making you not sidechain? I don't understand. Also, I think those things are complete gimmicks. Having a sub pack and the Woozer vest are complete gimmicks. They don't help you with mixing at all. It's only made for like listening purposes, and like I guess I haven't used one ever, so I wouldn't know, but I just don't think it would help you or benefit you in any way. Just don't use that to influence your decisions in mixing or mastering or anything. If you're gonna mix and master, don't use that. Just have it around to listen to things. You still need a sidechain though, because the reality is that when you don't sidechain, oh fuck, am I cutting out again, bro? Oh my goodness, hello? The hell? Dude, what is going on? I don't get these like spikes in my internet when I'm just like doing anything. That's weird. Oh fuck. Okay, I forgot what I was saying, damn. You should never not sidechain your kick. Sidechaining your kick is like a must in EDM. The reason being is because you're gonna have phase cancellation. If phase cancellation is gonna completely destroy the dynamics of your kick, you generally want your kick to have the same loudness as your sub. You don't want your sub taking away the pushiness of your kick, and vice versa. It's a real big mess. You don't want that happening at all. Also, not sidechaining takes away the impact of your kick because it literally ducks the punchiness out. Like it will just straight up take away from your kick. And if one thing is louder than the other, like if your kick is louder than your sub, it's gonna fuck up the punchiness of your sub. And if your sub is louder than your kick, then your kick is just fucking obliterated. You don't want that to ever happen. And it's even worse if your it's even worse if your kick is like a lower tone kick. Like if your kick is just like a low pass kick, for example, that's popular in like rap music, then your kick has no chance of doing anything. It's just decimated. I got to emulate a club environment, but I've never actually been able to test it out and test that compared to a club. Dude, just you want to sidechain. Just trust me on this. I can explain the whole thing on why you need a sidechain, but I'm giving feedback, so I don't want to like go full into it, but sidechaining does make your song sound better. In real terms, when you're distributing your song, you only have a certain amount of loudness you can make your kick in a song. That's why people master their songs. You want to have that space used up as much as you can, and the best way you can do that without causing issues with phase cancellation is sidechaining. It also helps your sub be consistent. You don't want your sub to be all wonky and playing at different volumes anyways. So definitely sidechain. Just you need to do that.
Right?
And I wish my internet wasn't cutting out so much. I'd probably be more focused. Well, I guess in total, you need to cut down on the stereo for your entire song. The stereo wideness is way too crazy and too much. Your drums need to be sidechained. You need a sidechain, like absolutely sidechain everything you can to the drums at least. And the reverb filter on your bass, just turn the cutoff up and it should sound better. Overall, it was pretty decent. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Futurama. I'd never seen that show, but I want to watch it. This part sounds pretty nice though. And yeah, just be aware of your song having way too much stereo wideness. Are you producing on headphones or on speakers? Because it is really apparent on headphones right now. I think if you're producing on speakers, it would make sense why you don't hear it. But on headphones, it's like, it's so obvious how insane the stereo wideness is. But anyways, that's what I have to say about that. So thank you for submitting. I hope that helped, and I hope I gave you some insight on the things that were wrong with your track. On to the last person. LX Alex. You're gonna hear the dub duels. I'll listen to them just briefly and vote on the ones I like. Oh. Leaky what? Leaky Bowel. And it's it's Miley Cyrus. on a dinosaur head? What the fuck? Yeah, of course, Vouch. Hope to see you next week and submit a banger tune. Ricky Bowell. Awesome. I just have the image of Miley Cyrus dinosaur Leaky Bowel in my head. Okay, so the build-up is like okay. It could be way better, but it is a build-up. Your basses need to be way louder. They're really wide and wet sounding. You just need to turn them up in volume. I think it would just make it sound way better. Your sub is just way too dominant here, and it also just is straight up louder. I don't know what this fucking mouse looking for cheese ass fake out is, but it's kind of weird. I don't know what that is, dude. Anyways. Yeah, it just seems to be way louder. That main bass, that's like the gun bass, not the screech. That gun bass, you should make less wet, make it more dry, and have it sit louder in the mix. It needs to be way louder. Also, this is like the third point out the stream. Your bass and your top layer or your sub are not welding together at all. They sound like different instruments just playing separately entirely. How about you get the bass and the sub, put them in the same mixer, and then you just put them together. Do that, please, and it will sound much better. Thank you. Your drums are hitting through, obviously, because everything was so fucking quiet. You can't hear anything else, so it just sounds like the drums and sub are playing. You have any notes? No, you did not. It doesn't make any sense because it doesn't sound loud, but your master is still clipping somehow. I don't get it. I think the easiest thing you do, okay, I got it, okay. So what you do is you take your kick, take your snare, take your sub, turn them all down, okay, turn them all down, and then turn the master up. And then make the gun bass drier and make them less wet. And then done, you made a song. And also like assort the sub and the basses, the top basses all together. And that should be it. With how short this is and how little it changes, I don't have much else to add. So I guess that's all the feedback I have for this song. So yeah. Thank you for submitting, and I will see you next week, hopefully, with a banger ass tune. Thank you, LX, for submitting. Alrighty. Okay, well, I guess we'll do the dub duels thing. I'll just look through them just a little quick. Gosh, I had like lunch earlier today, and I got like some fucking, I don't even call it, like French toast sandwich thing, and it like burnt my mouth and it hurts. Baker's Kaifu. Oh, that sounds fucking stereo as hell. I don't know. I said that. I voted for Neochrona. Laser blue. Oh, the surgeon finally stopped using bias so much. Yeah. I actually like this one. I've also never heard like dubstep like that. That sounds unique. I'll do Laser Blue. You got me, man. The sounds itself aren't like too creative, but him mixing them with those really gritty basses are what got me. It's like a really good contrast between those like really reverby, wet, fucking metallic sounds, and then you just have a fucking gritty ass bass. Very good contrast. I like using the word contrast to describe things because it is that. Like, that's such a contrasting bass to have it with, and it complements it so well. The fuck am I getting recruited into the military? You're welcome, Alex. Hope you learned a thing or two. Dude, what is with people in dub duels? Like fucking trying so hard. Oh fuck. This is like so interesting. Do the more. Alright, well. Oh, fuck yeah. This one wins dub duels. Okay, I can't play enough because they'll fucking copyright strike me. Anyways, yeah, thanks guys for hanging around and listening to my bullshit. My fucking stupid ass. Fucking dumb ass. Trying to tell people what I think their song is. But yeah, I really appreciate it. I'll be streaming 5 p.m. Saturday and doing some production streams. I'm also going to be doing a project breakdown of my little song Intrusion. So if you guys are interested in how I made the basses in there, you'll see me go through the entire project. And just a little content warning. The way I made the second bass in the first drop is fucking insane. Also very just like unexpected. And then if you guys want more feedback, I do another stream next week, same exact time, 5 p.m. All the times are Eastern Standard Time, by the way. But yeah, just follow my Patreon, subscribe on there, and just join my Discord for some more news and updates. So thank you guys for coming, and see ya. Bye-bye.